wires broke.
Oh, so they got the double
yes.
ones.
Yes.
Ready? Oh, let me get my little screw check. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Council of the Township of Montclair. Notice of this meeting has been provided to the Montclair Times, the Herald News, and the Star Ledger. Notice has also been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call.
Mayor Jackson.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Spiller.
Present.
Councilor Baskerville.
Present.
Councilor Hurlock.
Present.
Councilor McMahon.
Here.
Councilor Slager.
Here.
Thank you.
We're now going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by scouts from Troop 13. And when we're done with that, I wish we could just stand for a moment of silence in memory of Carl Garina, who passed away, was our Director of Public Works for many years and also our town manager for a period of time. So we'll have a moment of silence following the salute in memory of Carl Garina.
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're just going to remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. We're gonna just move around a little bit today to try to get some things out of the way. There have been presented to us the minutes of March 5th, 2019. Are there any additions or corrections to those? I will move them.
Did you sign this?
All in favor? We do have some proclamations this evening. The first one is congratulating Florence Russo, who's the mother of Councilman Russo, who will be on April 12th celebrating her 100th birthday. Bob would have been here this evening, but he actually took a fall and wasn't able to come. So I'm gonna read that. Whereas Florence Russo, longtime Montclair resident, will be honored in April by her family and friends, excuse me, in recognition of her 100th birthday. And whereas Mrs. Russo was born on April 12, 1919, in the city of Newark, where she and her husband, Rocco Russo, raised their children, Robert, Richard, John, and Anne Marie. She served with distinction within the General Instrument Company during World War II and was a valued employee of the United States Post Office and the Internal Revenue Service, and also assisted with her husband's business, Robert Russo Beverages. And whereas in the early 90s, she moved to Montclair, where her son, Bob, went on to represent the Township Council as the first ward councilor, then as mayor, and his wife, Christine. And whereas an active member of the Montclair community, Mrs. Russo has been involved and faithful parishioner at St. Catherine's Church, and she has been given generously of her time and energy as a member of the Women's Club of Upper Montclair and St. Vincent's Nursing Home Ladies Auxiliary. And whereas Mrs. Russo's life has spanned the administration of 18 United States presidents from 1919 to 2019, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor of the Township of the Council of Montclair that upon the occasion of her 100th birthday, we salute Florence Russo and honor her for her exemplary and long life and offer her sincere best wishes for fulfilling days ahead. I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Mrs. Russo. I think she's watching on TV. American Red Cross. Councilor Hurlock.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anyone else with you, or are you flying solo this evening? Just us?
Just us.
All right, well, let's get started then. In the interest of full disclosure, Mr. Mayor, I'm also on the board of the Red Cross.
So you have a conflict, is that
I
what
do,
you're saying?
actually. One of many in my life. Story of my life, actually. So this is a proclamation declaring March Red Cross Month, whereas more than 137 years ago, the American Red Cross was established as a humanitarian organization guided by 7 fundamental principles, including humanity, impartiality, and independence, to provide services to those in need regardless of race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or citizenship status. Today, the American Red Cross is one of the largest humanitarian organizations in the world and delivers its mission every day to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. Whereas every year the American Red Cross responds to an average of more than 62,000 disasters across the country, from small home fires to devastating massive disaster. Last year's large crises included mudslides in California, a volcano in Hawaii, wildfires in Colorado and California, destructive hurricanes in Florida and the Carolinas, and a devastating typhoon in U.S. territories. Thousands of American Red Cross volunteers provided around-the-clock shelter for disaster victims, served millions of meals and snacks with partners, and distributed millions of relief items. You've been busy. Whereas in New Jersey, the Red Cross has a long history of helping our neighbors in need. The Red Cross New Jersey region assisted with 902 local disasters in the past year alone and helped save lives through our Home Fire campaign. Since the campaign launched in October of 2014, the New Jersey region has worked with community partners to install more than 33,000 smoke alarms. Meanwhile, in our area, the Red Cross handles an average of 5,100 emergency military calls every year and collects an average of 95,000 units of blood from our generous blood donors. Whereas March is Red Cross Month, a special time to recognize and thank the Red Cross volunteers and donors who give of their time and resources to help members of the community. The Red Cross depends on these local heroes to deliver help and hope during a disaster. We applaud our heroes here in New Jersey who give of themselves to assist their neighbors when they need a helping hand. Whereas the American Red Cross shelters, feeds, and provides emotional support to victims of disasters, supplies about 40% of the nation's blood, teaches skills that save lives, provides international humanitarian aid, and supports military members and their families. Whereas we dedicate the month of March to all those who support the American Red Cross mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. Our community depends on the American Red Cross, which relies on volunteers and the generosity of the public to perform its mission. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Montclair hereby proclaims March 2019 as American Red Cross Month and urges support of service and relief organizations. Signed by the Mayor and the Town Council.
So first of all, thank you, Mayor, and the Township of Montclair for honouring us. And it truly is our heroes. It's our volunteers and our donors that keep us going each and every day. Before I forget, I also want to wish Mrs. Russo happy 100th birthday. But really, I think one of the things I guess tonight really want to share is the Home Fire campaign. And I think I mentioned this last year, but it's so important that everybody has working smoke alarms. There are just way too many people that sadly not only lose everything, but sometimes perish as a result of fires. So tonight I would really encourage you all to ensure that your smoke alarms are working, and if not, to replace them. We actually offer for free 10-year smoke alarms. So if you want us to come and install them, let us know. You should change those batteries when the clocks just went forward. When the clocks go back, your battery should be changed every 6 months, and you should actually check your alarms every month. Please check all the different tips on our website for fire prevention tips. Often a lot of fires start in the kitchen. And I would really urge you all to get together with your families and create a family evacuation plan. So we do that when we're working right at our places of business, but we actually don't sit down with our families and decide where are we all going to meet should a fire occur, because you have 2 minutes to get out of a burning building. And just very simple things, but true, that save lives. So again, I want to thank you. And thank you really for the volunteers that step up each and every day, and for the partnerships that we have with our municipalities. We couldn't exist without those. We're about 92% volunteer driven in the United States, but here in New Jersey, we're about 98% volunteer driven. So truly it is our heroes that we're honouring. It's not me, it's like Bill, who's a volunteer, and everybody else who's really stepped up. So thank you very much, and thank you, everybody.
Is there anyone here from the Montclair Unity Church?
Yeah.
All right. Where's the, do you want to do that your award? Okay. You want me up front, please?
The Unity Church was with the homeless. Oh. This is the one that they It's all screwed up.
Okay. This is a proclamation congratulating Unity of Montclair Church. Whereas Unity of Montclair is a member of the Unity Worldwide Ministries, a leading ministry of New Thought spiritual movement founded in the late 1800s by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore of Lee Summit, Missouri. And whereas Unity is a worldwide movement that teaches universal principles and spiritual laws, including elements of Buddhism and other Eastern thought. And whereas Unity of Montclair began as a study group known as the Unity Society in 1927, nurtured by Mrs. Ella Pomeroy under the direction of Reverend Gladys Stevenson, the group met in private homes and public buildings in Montclair. And whereas the Unity movement and the Unity of Montclair is open to people of every race, ethnicity, gender, age, and sexual orientation, and accepts all spiritual paths, and whereas the 5 basic principles of unity include: God is the source and creator of all, there is no other enduring power, God is good and present everywhere. We are spiritual beings created in God's image. The Spirit of God lives within each person, therefore all people are inherently good. We create our life experiences through our way of thinking. There is power in affirmative prayer, which we believe increases our awareness of God. Knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. And whereas an active member of the Montclair Clergy Association, the ministry has actively supported many Montclair groups, including Gates Nursing Home, Pet Blessing, Tony's Kitchen, Montclair Animal Shelter, Montclair State University Film Students, MESH, IHN, Interfaith Hospitality Network, Montclair YMCA, and Montclair NAACP. And whereas the 95th anniversary celebration, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, will take place on March 29, 2019 at the Manor Restaurant. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and the Council of the Township of Montclair recognizes the University of Montclair Church as a heart-centered spiritual community and congratulates them on their 95th anniversary. Congratulations. And feel free, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Jackson, Council. I've been a resident of Montclair for over 27 years now, and it's been an honor and a privilege to live here. Not many live as well as we do, but again, I'm honored to be here, and it's only equally honored by being able to practice my spiritual Christianity here as well, and to serve with this fine committee of women. On behalf of Unity of Montclair, we thank you for this honor. We look forward to serving further in the future, as well as bringing openness to the community. And in that tradition, we welcome you to join us every Sunday. We're right on Orange Road. Our doors are open, and we still have time for you to join us for our event on March 29th, because we intend to do more, because there ain't no stopping us now. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Spiller.
Thank you, Mr.
Deputy Mayor Spiller, excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to all my colleagues, to all of you, and to everyone listening. It is my pleasure to read a proclamation to really draw awareness to some of the challenges, one of the challenges that we're facing, but also one of the challenges that there are some great people trying to do something about, and I think you're looking at a number of them here. So with that, I'd like to read a proclamation declaring March 30th, 2019 as Teen Homeless Awareness Day. Whereas the Vanguard Theater Company is joining with many community organizations to draw awareness to teen homelessness and offer hope and support to homeless teens. And whereas New Jersey's student homelessness grew the most of any state over the past 3 years. And these young people are at a much higher risk of physical abuse, sexual exploitation, mental health disabilities, substance abuse, and death. And whereas 1 in 7 youths between the age of 10 and 18 will run away from home at some point, 12% of New Jersey's 18 to 24-year-olds live in unsupervised or on the streets or in abandoned buildings with friends and strangers. And whereas the Vanguard Theater Company, in partnership with the First Congregational Church of Montclair, Tony's Kitchen, the Human Needs Food Pantry, the Covenant House, and others, will present a concert, Runaways, by Elizabeth Swados, on March 30th at the First Congregational Church of Montclair. And whereas Vanguard's production is a special program called Dream VTC, made possible in part by grants from the New Jersey Council of Arts and T. Rico by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which the cast hopes will go further to draw attention to homeless teens in their communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Township of Montclair declare March 30th, 2019 as Teen Homeless Awareness Day and commend the Vanguard Theater for their efforts to raise awareness on this critical issue. And I know, Jessica, in talking to you, that the students had so much to do with this, so it is really great to see and to hear. And I thank you, and we all thank you for your work.
Thank you, Councilman Spiller and the Town Council. So Vanguard Theater Company is only 4 years old, but we've done a lot of amazing things. Our mission is to bring community together and transform lives through theater that is dedicated to DREAM, diversity, reciprocity, education, awareness, and mentorship. Everything we do is guided by those principles. In January, we presented to sold-out audiences 4 performances of Runaways the musical in New York City, and our cast, 5 of whom you see right here, were so moved by that experience and telling the stories of real teenage youth, because that's how Elizabeth Swados wrote the musical, that they wanted to do more than just sing about it. And so in addition to presenting this concert on March 30th at the FCC, and we invite everyone to come and hear the wonderful music and the voices of these teens and many others, they will be holding a sleep out. We're not 100% sure where that's going to be. We're still working on that, but it's a sleep out in solidarity with homeless teens across the country, and all of the proceeds from the concert, it's a $10 admission plus a can or box of food, will be donated to Covenant House, and the food will be shared with Tony's Kitchen and the Human Needs Food Pantry. So we welcome everyone to come to that March 30th at the First Congregational Church of Montclair, which is graciously offering up its sanctuary in partnership with us at 8 p.m.
Save the date.
Save the date. Yeah, please.
Hi, I'm Sammy. I'm from Montclair, and I'm a member of the junior board for Vanguard Theater Company. It's a company that means a lot to me, and yeah, that's me.
Hi, my name is Maya. I'm also a member of the Vanguard Junior Board, and it's been a really great part of my life, and it's made my high school experience so meaningful in a lot of ways.
Hi, I'm Maria Naliath. I'm from West Orange, actually, but I've been doing Vanguard for a couple years now, and they've really changed my life and shown me how I can help others, I guess. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Joe Naliath. When I first auditioned for the show Runaways, it was, just another audition, but the process was really enlightening, and it opened my eyes to this issue of homeless youth, which is something that's so real and so devastating, but it often flies under the radar. Yeah. And I think it's something that we all need to really consider more often.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Dwayne Banks, and I'm also a member of the junior board of Vanguard, and this company has helped me so much. I love it so much, and it's helped me grow as an actor. Yeah.
I think it's okay.
I do too. Just saying.
Thank you so much.
We'll stay right here since we're... Okay. I know everybody came out tonight to talk about our new sign ordinance, so we'll. I'm going to move. That's a joke. You can laugh at that. But we're going to move. We're going to move ahead with something else very special on the program. As you know, tonight is our esteemed clerk's last meeting. And I'm sure I don't have to tell you the great work that she's done here in the community, how much each and every one of us love her, and the great work that she's done and how much she's going to be missed. But we do have a proclamation that we want to present to her. And of course, we'll give other folks in the audience an opportunity to come up and say some things to her as well. So, Councilor Herlock.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. It is with tremendous honor and respect and love that I start this proclamation off on behalf of the council. Whereas Township Clerk Linda S. WANAT is retiring on April 1st, 2019, after providing over 30 years of service to the Township of Montclair. The position of Township Clerk is central to the operation of the municipality, and Ms. WANAT's responsibilities are numerous and definitely varied. She serves as the election official and as secretary to the Township Council is the official record keeper of all township business, taking and retaining minutes of council meetings, tracking the introduction and adoption of all township legislation, amending the township code, and keeping track of all township transactions. And I'm going to hand off now to Councilwoman Schlager.
Whereas Ms. WANAT's background, including both her academic studies, she holds a bachelor's degree from Boston University with a double major in philosophy and education, and earned a master's degree in psychology from Columbia University. and her previous employment with the American Liver Foundation and her work at Montclair State University, offering her expertise in management and program development to the Vice President of Administration and Finance, more than prepared her for the rigors of working as Montclair's municipal clerk.
Whereas Linda's abilities as a fundraiser, event planner, and I have to take a moment to talk about event planner because any one of us up here knows that when it's our birthday, Linda always makes sure she brings us our birthday cake, and it's always based on what we like the most. So I thank you for the ice cream cake that you always brought for me and everyone else. Event planner, hostess extraordinaire, stood her good stead when arranging visits from sister city representatives and working on various committees, planning township celebrations such as the recent 150th anniversary party. And whereas Ms. WANAT's interest and background in education inform everything she does, beginning with the frequent tours she conducted of the municipal building for grammar school children to the development of internship programs for Montclair High School and Montclair State University students, to her participation in exchange programs for groups from Graz, Barnett, Cherepovets, and extending to her position as an adjunct instructor for Rutgers Registered Municipal Clerk Certification Program. And whereas, Councilwoman Baskerville.
Whereas Linda has been the recipient of many acknowledgments and awards, including the International Institute of Municipal Clerks Quill Award for exemplary contribution to the profession and the international community, the Sister City Diamond Award, YMCA's Women of Distinction Award, the Rotary Club's Outstanding Service Award, and the Junior League's Community Award, just to name a few. And
I'm chocolate. Whereas Linda's love of and dedication to the township as a longtime resident can be seen in her work as an active member of her church and her involvement with her children's schools and many local organizations, including the Montclair Adult School, the Montclair Counseling Center, and the Rotary Club. This is rivaled only by her devotion to her family. She's the proud mother of Christopher and Peter James and grandmother, and I know she's a really proud grandmother, to Hope, Christopher, Jackson, and Arya, and she is known to travel to Connecticut and California to attend sporting and academic events in support of her grandchildren. Now, therefore, Mr. Mayor.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the council of the Township of Montclair offer commendation and congratulations to Linda S. WANAT and wish her many healthy years continuing her myriad pursuits in travel, reading, theater, and support of the Boston Red Sox. I don't know about that one. And thank her for her many, many, many years of exemplary service to the Township of Montclair. Linda added to the life of the municipal community with the thoughtfulness, kindness, and friendship she provided to both residents and colleagues. And I so move. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Congratulations. And again, if anybody, when we're done, on the audience, please.
I'm sort of overwhelmed, so bear with me. But I also saw the hand of the master proclamation writer in this proclamation this evening, so wherever you are in that speech, thank you. She has done this for many years, and I've just recently inherited that position. And as you can see from tonight's, it's sort of time-consuming, but she's the master. Well, I thank you, Council. When I was teaching the local government courses at Rutgers, I often asked a question of my students: how many of you ever thought when you grew up you wanted to be a municipal clerk? I never got a response. But that said, it's really been a privilege to serve as a municipal clerk for the Township of Montclair for 30 years. It's been rewarding, often challenging, but always, always fulfilling. But as I glance around this council chamber, I'm kind of flooded with memories. If you look to your left, you will see photographs of the current council and other councils that I've served with over the years. And even though they served different terms of offices, there was a common thread. And that thread, to me, was one of service, dedication, and the strong desire to make Montclair the best it could be. So I thank you and commend you for that as leaders of our community. And then looking at the dais, you mentioned the students, the third graders from Montclair would come for a tour of the town hall, and they'd engage in a mock council meeting where they would discuss local issues and problems, things like graffiti, recycling, and the ever-present shortage of parking in Montclair. The discussions they had were always lively, and their solutions displayed imagination, creativity, and a wisdom that belied their young years. This podium. This is the podium where I had the honor of swearing in all the new police and fire recruits. And as they rose up in the ranks, I felt kind of like a proud mama. The only problem was, as I got older, they kept getting younger. In the back of the room, you'll see a wonderful display cabinet designed and created by Dr. Winfield Parsons' students at Montclair State to display our mementos from our sister cities. Most of you know that we have 4, the London Borough of Barnet, the cities of Graz, Austria, and Cherepovets, Russia, and our newest sister city, Aquilonia, Italy. I've had wonderful experiences visiting with them and forging friendships with all of those individuals that still flourish to this day. So I'm very grateful. I'm also very grateful and lucky to this council for providing me with an environment where I could learn and grow and serve our residents. It was a wonderful opportunity, and it's been a wonderful job. So I will cherish all my memories as I cherish my family and my friends, my workmates, especially those in the clerk's office, but all of you who, over the years, have so generously provided me with support every step of the way. So once again, I thank you all. Thanks. You know, when I traveled with the mayor to Aquilonia last year, I felt really privileged because everybody thought he was a movie star. They kept asking me, who was I with? Thank you. Thank you.
Again, if anybody wants to come up and give comments to Linda, we'll be happy to hear from you. And I also want to recognize Mayor Remsen, who's here, and also Councilor Joyce Michelson is here as well. Oh, and Mr. Fryer is here as well. Good to see you. Sorry, I missed you. Yes.
You've heard all of Linda's activities directly related to her activities with the council, but she's also played other roles in the community that some of you might not be aware of. As a member of the League of Women Voters, we always knew if we had a question about government, be it Montclair or the state, that we could call Linda. And Linda would share her wisdom with us. And I'm sure that she will retain that information and will still be able to call upon her should the occasion arise. Also, Linda was a major contributor for many years to the Adult School of Montclair. And we really were grateful for her involvement, knowing that she was as busy as she was with township affairs.
My council's almost got a quorum here tonight. We used to have a joke in town hall. We used to joke who was going to retire first, Linda WANAT or Bob Russo, and apparently you got there first. And I would say it if he was here. When I served in the council for 8 years, and so Linda's the only clerk I have known. And you know, you ask around when you get elected, how do I learn? Who do I talk to? Even you've been involved. Everybody says, go to Linda, go to Linda, go to Linda. You'll learn more about the town than most people, you know, could ever remember or forget. And you do. And you spend a lot of time, and she's patient. And one of the things I appreciated about working with Linda was she kept the political stuff. It's very hard when you're inside the council and sitting in all our meetings and being able to kind of tune down the craziness that goes on, especially in executive meetings or in executive sessions or conference meetings where we're going at each other. And she just stayed above all that and didn't let that enter into the conversations. And you learned to respect that and not to say, what do you really think about so-and-so? You just didn't go there with Linda. She didn't want to get involved in that. She was here to do a job. I had the pleasure of working with her a few times when we did go to take the trips. It was nice, very nice to see Gratz Park have another name on it in recognition of her great work. But we took 2 trips. We saw London together. With Councilor Lang and I went on an official trip, and we went to Gratz. And Linda helped pave the way for all of that. So the only thing we ever really disagreed about was if the conversation got around to baseball. That was always a problem, and she took the opportunity. As nice as she was about everything else, she found a way to put the knife in and twist it about the Yankees and the Red Sox. But that was fine. And one of the nicest things about my relationship with Linda was last year, on a day when I had time and she had time, we hung out and went to the film festival together and went to a bunch of movies together. And we didn't discuss town business. We just went to the movies and discussed which one we liked and didn't like, said goodbye. She came back here. I went wherever I was going. And that was a nice time that I have as a nice memory. So congratulations on a well-deserved retirement. It was a great pleasure working with you all the many years I've been in town, including my 8 in the council. And go Yankees.
Hi, I'm Emer Featherstone, and I would just like to say thank you to Linda as a member of our book club and as a member of our investment club for all the wise advice she's given us over these years. And I would like to say thank you to her for all the help she's been to all the nonprofits in town. Anytime you ever want to know anything about what's legal or not legal, we call Linda. So thank you, Linda.
A few of Linda's friends are here, and we consider ourselves a Linda WANAT fan club. And I just wanted to say that before I came, I looked up the definition of town clerk, and there's like maybe 4 or 5 bulleted tasks that are included in the job, especially taking minutes and doing the legal preparation and this and that. But the birthday cakes and the sister cities and the coming out in the snow to be on the emergency, whatever it is, committee that you guys do, I can't say enough as just an observer of Linda about her dedication, her energy, her passion for the town, her generosity. It's just overwhelming to me, and I know that she's going to be missed here. But we're going to have a good time because we're planning, all of us retired ladies and, you know, ladies who lunch, et cetera, having Linda join us. So thank you, Linda, for all the people in Montclair for everything that you've done. Thank you.
I'm Deirdre Malloy, and I'm a resident of Montclair, and I serve on a couple of commissions. But I want to say thank you, Linda, for all of the years that I've been coming into the clerk's office. And whenever there was a question that either the front staff couldn't answer or I didn't know myself, she would come from the back office. And she was always available to answer questions. And I thank you for your presence and just your availability and just your knowledge. I was there recently and I said, well, you can't retire. Who's going to replace you? She says, oh, I'm going. So I just want to say thank you so much for all you've done and all you mean to the township. Congratulations.
Linda, I just want to say to you, and actually to all of you, that there is a life on the other side of the table. So I hope that you fully enjoy it. There is actually even life outside of Montclair, as I've discovered, but it's not the same thing. And trying to get involved in West Orange politics and understanding it, I've grown far more appreciative of a form of government here, the caliber of people here, the non-political stance that we managed to do even though we've gone through elections. And a lot of that is due to Linda and her leadership. I think you are going to have a tax problem, though, because part of easing the pain of paying my taxes was being able to run in and say hi to Linda and to Annette. And if they don't show up, that's the reason. Thank you very much and all the best.
Good evening. My name is Michael Laplace. I spent a lot of time in this room a long time ago. I was assistant planner for almost 6 years, so it's nice to be back. It's like being home. I want to thank the mayor and council for giving me this opportunity to acknowledge Linda in public. Also want to thank my friend Annette's speech for tipping me off that this was your last meeting. I just wanted to say that I felt extremely lucky when I was able to come to Montclair and work as planner. Wonderful town, wonderful environment, an amazing place to do planning in, but I didn't expect to make lifelong friends. And those of us who have, it's a blessing to have it's a blessing to have a job, it's a blessing to have a fulfilling job and career, but to also make friends that change your life and are with you even after you leave, it's just been amazing. And Linda's been there for me. We were as good friends as we ever were. I've been in a lot of towns and a lot of other places, and I just cherish your friendship, but I have so much respect for what you've done for Montclair. The integrity, the hard work, the graciousness, everything that you brought to the job. It was a big job to begin with. You made it a bigger job. And Montclair is so lucky to have had you, and I'm so proud to know you. And I'll tell you, I've worked in other towns in New Jersey, and when I tell them I worked in Montclair and I mention the clerk, oh, Linda, I know Linda. Linda's like the dean of clerks in New Jersey. Yes. And that always filled me with pride as well. Yeah. So, Linda, there's really nothing I could say that would adequately express how much I feel for you, and I'm so proud to know you. And I think Montclair is the luckiest township in the world to have had you as clerk, and just happiness always.
Linda, you know, we work together a lot. The attorney and the clerk mix it up quite a bit, usually friendlily, sometimes we're at odds, but I've been in many other towns. I don't know. I've worked as an attorney in, 10 towns, and no one has a clerk like you. You are the finest clerk that I've seen in this state, and we're going to miss you very much.
I just want to say, Linda, your retirement is bittersweet. I'm going to miss you so much. I'm happy that you're retiring, but I hate to see you leave. You're going to leave behind a wonderful legacy, and I just want to thank you for all that you've done for me since I've been here in the clerk's office. You've been very encouraging, and you pushed me to do things beyond my limits. So I thank you for that, and I wish you the best retirement ever.
Mr. Stafford?
Mayor, Linda, I've been fortunate to serve in this capacity in 2 other New Jersey towns before here, as well as the County of Essex. And I can tell you that it's a wonderful place to be when you come into a job where you're responsible for an enormous amount, to have a resource and someone who is so entrenched in the community such as you. I was lucky in the previous 2 towns to work with municipal clerks who were fabulous, and you know them both, and you have relationships with them both. And I was thrilled to find you here and to be able to rely on you as a resource every day up until today, and I thank you for that, and I wish you the best. As I said to you recently, it is very sad for the Township of Montclair and for your colleagues, but it's a very happy time for you and your family. Good luck to you.
Mr. Herlock?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to be short but sweet, I hope. I just wanted to, it's been an honor and privilege, so you got me all choked up, I can't say privilege now. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you over these last 7 years. I'm one of the, I think Sean and Rich and I were the newbies, actually, who came up here back in 2012, and I learned a great deal from you. And it was really nice to travel with you, too, in Aquilonia, and to share that special time together. You will be missed, but you are loved. Thank you.
Well, it's no doubt that your clerkship here has been outstanding in every way. But on a personal note, Linda, I want to say thank you for all the years of cakes and cards, and you've always made us feel so special. But I especially am going to miss your handwriting. You have the best handwriting I've ever seen. It's just beautiful, and all the many cards that you've sent to me over the years. And I still have them all, and I will treasure them always. I wish you the best of luck, and you always have a family back here in Montclair. Anytime, anything you ever need. Thank you. Thank you.
And I was born in the Truman administration, and it takes me a while to think of the number of presidents I've lived through. But you and Connie are pretty much all it. So your longevity and the longevity of this job is just amazing, and it's been wonderful working with you. And sometimes I feel for you. But it was even more wonderful talking about our grandchildren and traveling with you. So I trust we will continue to do that while you're in retirement and enjoying them.
Well, Linda, I think I'd echo what so many have said. For me, really, and I think all of us know, we get calls and emails from residents all the time. And personally, I'd send many of them to you looking for answers, and you'd always get that answer for them, or you'd always get that answer for me. I think that's what makes you a great clerk. But I also say it's the job, but it's what you do beyond the job that makes you so special. and it's the personal touch. It's the going beyond what the ask was. It's the trying to help somebody when they're having a tough time. We got a glimpse of that. We got to see how much you helped people and cared about people. And I think that's why you see so many out here today to express their love and gratitude, because we as a township appreciate you. And I know that every person you touched really appreciates you. So thank you for all your years. Enjoy retirement.
Linda, you're an amazing person. You're kind, you're thoughtful, you're just, and you have a special way of always making us all feel special, as though we're the only one that matters at that time. And I thank you for that. Over the last 10 years that I've been blessed to share with you, I've become a better person. And I believe we've developed a friendship that I hope will continue beyond your time here. When people touch me in a special way, there are two things that I like to share with them. One is my time, and the other is a prayer. So if you would allow me, I'd like to share this with you. Lord, we give thanks for the tremendous blessing that has come from the work of Linda WANAT over the many years, and we thank you that you still anoint and use Linda always in all seasons. We pray that this would be a new beginning. May your hope arise and your vision be the guide. May a new rhythm emerge, one that forms a beautiful balance between rest and engagement with life. I love you and thank you.
Madam Clerk, I will miss you tremendously. I will, although there will be another person at some point sitting in that seat. The term Madam Clerk, I think, is one that is specially for you. When I think about you, two things, Linda. One is the Aquilonia miracle that we shared with there, and if those of you who don't know what that is, when you get a chance, ask her about the Aquilonia miracle. And the other is the true professionalism, the class, the dignity with which you carried out your duties. All of us have an opportunity the blessing really to serve the public, but I think you, beyond anybody that I've come in contact with in public life, demonstrated a decorum, just a magnanimous nature that's unmatched. And I try to model myself after you because I think you do it the right way. And I'll be forever grateful for you for the help that you've given me over the years. And I think you truly exemplify the very best in government service, but more importantly, I think the very best in being a human being. God bless you. Okay, there's a difficult segue here at this point. I don't know. That is true. The next thing is Madam Clerk. Well, you know, I got confused, and I think we should. Well, let's do public comment. Thank you, Madam Clerk. She keeps us in line too. You can see that, right? Somebody's got to do it. We'll go have public comment now. Anyone wishing to address the council on any matter, feel free to do so, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes, unless it's about Linda. Mr. Del Gaudio.
Good evening. I'm Frank Del Gaudio. I'm the municipal liaison from Essex County for the Township of Montclair. Madam Clerk, that's the term I've learned and was brought up with. Worked together with you for close to 15 years. And I have to say, as a public servant, you always did what's best for your residents, your constituents, and the township. And you were very passionate about it. That's something that can't be taught. That's just the years of experience, and you did a fantastic job. So with that, I just wanted to segue into the Cherry Blossom Festival. Spring is coming. I promise you, spring is coming. So there's many events coming up in Browns Brook Park in Newark. And if you've never experienced a Cherry Blossom Festival, I really recommend you go. There's more trees in Washington, D.C. You don't have to travel that far. And it's just really breathtaking to see all the trees in full bloom. Just got to get the timing right because they don't last long. As you know, Montclair's got a lot of cherry blossoms also. And, 2-3 days, they're gone. A good strong wind comes by. So I really, if anyone wants to go and has not experienced it, but it starts off on April 6th. With the traditional, the bike race is always the first event with the cherry blossoms. Then on April 7th, it's a 10K run, and it's expect well over 1,000 runners in that event. If anyone's a runner, a 10K run in the park. Hopefully the blossoms are in bloom. And the big event is the Bloom Fest on April 14th. There's bands, there's attractions, there's rides, there's all kinds of different vendors there, there's food. It's a great event. You see well over 100,000 people for the Cherry Blossom Festival. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Jim Price, 47 Gordonhurst. I'm a member of NJ11 for Change, and I work with New Sanctuary Coalition, which is an immigrant support group in New York City. This is about our relationship with the freeholders, the money we send them, and what they do with the money. It's about the immigration detention facility that the county maintains in Newark. I've emailed each of you guys 2 documents. One is the Department of Homeland Security, Office of the Inspector General report on the jail, and the second is a recent Star-Ledger editorial. If you haven't looked at them yet, please do. They'll explain much more than I can in 3 minutes. Mayor Jackson, as county administrator, knows far more than I, and I'm sure can answer any questions you might have. Essex County has a contract with ICE, which pays the county a per diem for each detainee housed at the jail. In return, the county is supposed to maintain the physical plant, provide food, recreation, medical care, etc. People have been attending the freeholder meetings for the past year and a half, demanding that the county break the contract with ICE. They claim that the conditions in the jail are horrible. Essex County says the jail is the best run jail in New Jersey. Unfortunately, both statements can be true. In August 2018, Homeland Security Office of the Inspector General made an unannounced visit to the jail and found that the conditions were, in fact, horrible. You can see the OIG report for details and pictures. The report was made public in February, and in response, the freeholders called a public hearing, which was held last Thursday. Joe D., of course, could not be bothered to attend. He sent the director of ICE programs, Phil Alagia, in his place. Phil, by the way, just received a $45,000 a year raise because of his excellent oversight of the jail since 2011. At the hearing, the administrator of the jail, Phil, the food service coordinator, the ICE liaison, and others took up the first hour and a half of the meeting, sharing their resumes and career achievements, assuring everyone that really things at the jail were fine. It was as if the OIG report didn't exist. The freeholders asked a few challenging questions, but not as many as I would have liked. When the meeting was opened for comments, some people called for the county to break the contract. Others wanted the county to fix the problems and appoint an independent oversight board. The county says there will be a report by mid-April. A lot of the problem is that hardly anyone knows who the freeholders are, and even fewer know what a freeholder does. Please read the documents I've provided and anything else you can find that's relevant. Talk to Mayor Jackson. If this situation upsets you, please contact your freeholder. Who's your freeholders? Brendan Gill is the president of the freeholders. Carlos Pomares, District 5, which is Montclair. Please call. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Price.
So, my name is Frederick Chichester, 56 Gordonhurst Avenue. And just very briefly, I'll just address Linda WANAT. I've always appreciated the fact that whenever I've come into your office, you have been very helpful, and I've also felt that you treated me absolutely wonderfully every time I came with problems and questions. So thank you for that. I hope you have a wonderful retirement. What I'd like to speak about today is the fact that there seem to be many problems with traffic safety in town, and I've thought about these and tried to help with them, but the big frustration for me is I can never find out when the Traffic and Parking Committee meets, or for that matter, the Pedestrian Safety Committee, and I feel I have worthwhile contributions to offer to them, and yet I can't do it because I can't find out when and where the meetings are. Some specific problems that I've observed are continuing problems with a dangerous pedestrian crosswalk right by police headquarters. I've taken to the point where I've discussed this with the engineering department in Essex County, and we've talked about the solutions. I do this because presently we do not have a municipal engineer in place. Yes, I know we have a company, but not a person. And also, I'm very concerned about the condition of the sidewalks in town. My wife was recently severely injured by falling over one of the nefarious bluestone sidewalks in our neighborhood. And I know this is not an isolated instance. It's happened to me about 4 times, and I know of other people who've been injured. And it seems to me that something needs to be done to correct these misaligned sidewalk slabs that people fall over and get injured. So I hope that the council can provide some assistance on this. So finally, I do want to say I do appreciate the time you put into this unpaid work, but I think it's part of my responsibility as a citizen to alert you to problems I see and possible solutions.
Councilman.
Yes, Mr. Chichester, I'd just like to let you know that the next pedestrian safety meeting will be on April the 9th at 3:30, and we meet in the second floor conference room. I'd also just like to let you that we are fortunate to have a team of engineers that work closely with the municipality, and there's one that attends our pedestrian safety meeting. So come on the 9th and meet them, and you're welcome to join us. And thank you for always trying to make Montclair a safer place for us all.
Yes, I was injured the day before yesterday for the second time on our sidewalks, and I strongly believe that Fred would be a real asset to those 2 committees that he wants to attend but has been unable to find how to get to. However, I am here today because I'm concerned about climate change. You've heard about the big demonstration last Friday around the world of young people concerned not just that they're going to fall on the sidewalks, which I did for the second time, but that the whole planet will become very challenging to live on. And there are 2 things that Montclair does that I really wish we could change. One is an enormous amount of idling of vehicles. I witness this constantly. I've been told that there's a state law giving a limit how much you can, but I haven't yet found out how much that is. My authority here tells me that 30 seconds is the maximum that's acceptable for your engine. Your engine actually gets damaged if you idle for more than 30 seconds. And in our cars, which are all over a decade old, you just turn them on and they go, except in the very, very coldest weather. I wish we could at least bring a lot of attention to this and perhaps something else. My other issue about climate change are those leaf blowers. They have other disadvantages, but they certainly add to climate change, and I believe they should be prohibited in Montclair. The towns that have done so have found that the cost of lawn maintenance does not increase. I can believe this. I maintain our property with no power machinery, and it's clear that I do it faster. I'll be 79 next week. I do it faster than these young men with the leaf blowers. And they go on, and then at the end, yes, it's a bit cleaner than mine is, but 2 hours later, there's hardly any difference. We should prohibit leaf blowers. They have other disadvantages besides climate change. They are really, really annoying for those of us who want to work or play outside. As many of you know, I like to raise my own vegetables, and that's an honorable activity. But these leaf blowers can make it really hard. Please, please prohibit leaf blowers year-round in Montclair.
Thank
you.
Good evening. I feel very honored to be here tonight. Town Clerk WANAT, and congratulations and best wishes, because it's just, there's so many people in this town who do so many wonderful things, but you clearly are a star. So, my name's Karen Shinovar. I live in the First Ward, and in 2017, we founded a local nonprofit, Communities Promoting Animal Welfare New Jersey. Our board includes Kay Sherwood, the inaugural chair that was appointed by this council of the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee. Our mission is pretty simple: to save cats' lives and to reduce shelter intake through a practice called Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, in Return, TNVR, and surrender prevention training and support. These programs complement the animal shelter's work by reducing the number of animals needing shelter and helping people keep their pets. Or as we say, compassion with a purpose. Oh. In less than 2 years, we've helped over 100 Montclair cats and dozens of families. Our current total of spay-neutered cats from April of 2017 until February is 752. Wow. Helping outdoor cats is time-consuming, often painstaking work, requiring a mixture of flexibility to trap when cats are fed by the caregivers, the often hours and sometimes days necessary to complete the task, listening and listening again with compassion and the knowledge to help solve the problem at hand. Our trained volunteers and caring donors who open their hearts and wallets to care for these cats are the core of an effective TNVR program. We couldn't be more grateful for them. Our cost to Montclair taxpayers is zero. Instead, we save tax dollars and we provide confidentiality, privacy, and thus increased safety for colony cats and their caregivers. We're thrilled that the town supports TNVR in helping outdoor cats. But in our experience, the single biggest barrier in Montclair to reducing the outdoor cat population are funds for medical expenses. Often we're helping a Montclair caregiver who can barely afford the food, and one of their colony cats is seriously ill and needs to be trapped so appropriate care can be given. In the 2019 budget, the animal shelter proposes to hire an additional full-time ACO and 2 part-time kennel attendants. It was reported in the press that at least the 4th ACO is for the shelter's TNVR program. We couldn't calculate the town's TNVR program expenses except that the shelter salary line item increases from $274,000 to $379,000, a 38% increase. Other expenses such as employee benefit costs and program transportation, medical, housing, and feeding costs are not separately listed in the budget, so we couldn't figure that out. Conversely, there are no shelter revenues from Nutley and Verona because there are no contracts with those towns. So based on CPAW's experience and our stated mission of collaborating whenever possible, we propose that the town refer its TNVR work to us and use the scarce Montclair taxpayer revenues for medical expenses for the spay-neuter of both outdoor cats and perhaps even establish a low-cost program for companion animals. This alternate funding proposal would maximize the value of scarce tax revenue and recognize the dedication of community volunteers and save money on the shelter budget. My time is up. I have a folder for everyone with information about us and about the research supporting the information that I
Thank you so
tonight. And I
much.
thank you for your time.
Thank you for what you do.
Just so you know, Karen, there is, I believe there is $5,000 in the budget this year for a pilot program to work with. We talked about the facility from Hillside. that provides the services. Remember, we talked about that?
Is it in Montclair, are you talking about?
Yeah, in our...
Okay, so it's in there?
Mhm.
So, and that's for the medical. So if, in addition, the town referred, I mean, our proposal is that there are a bunch of advantages of our program, and it's detailed in the handouts, but if the town could refer that to us, $5,000, we might be lucky if we could trap 50 cats for that. It's about $100 a cat.
Mm-hmm.
But if we took some of this other money, and while we're going to have a pilot, and collaborated and used more money for funds, that really is the biggest barrier. And if we're bringing the spay van once a month here to Montclair the rest of the year, if the town and CPAW work together, we could substantially decrease cats dying outside, helping people keep their pets, and really make a difference in this community.
Mhm.
So I hope you'll seriously consider it.
Absolutely. But we have, we've taken a step. We took his first step, so, yep, yep. Anyone else? Mr. Scott.
Good evening, Council. William Scott. First, Ms. WANAT, you are a true professional. I know many occasions I've come into the office seeking information, and I've walked away with that information. You have amazing staff, so fortunately, I think the town is going to be in pretty good shape based on the hard work that you've done in establishing your organization and your people that work for you. So I look forward with working with Ms. Lee as well. Thank you very much there. I just want to make a couple of announcements. First of all, being the co-chair of the Montclair Housing Commission and also the chair of the NAACP Housing Committee, I've got a couple of areas I'd like to cover, but first, from Montclair NAACP, we will be hosting a universal rent control forum on April the 11th at the Charles Bullock School from 7 to 9 o'clock. Would like to invite all the council members to come and listen to the conversation about rent control in the Township of Montclair. I guess you probably, or may not remember, but probably a little over a year ago, that being the NAACP, we put together a website with Planet Civics, and we did gather some information from residents within the township with concerns about rent control, and those concerns came from both sides, not only the renters in town, but the property owners and property management people within the township. So we would like to take it a step further at that forum that we're going to be having in April. I've got some brochures, flyers to hand out. I won't go through a whole lot of detailed information, but I will say that we will have our Councilwoman Baskerville as the moderator, okay, at that forum, and there will be organizations that will be subject matter experts, and as I mentioned, that'll be on the flyer. So all are invited. I just hope to see you and come and take in the information and listen to the residents of Montclair. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Scott, just give those to Madam Clerk.
Yes, I will do that. Okay. Just a couple of more items. One with the Montclair Center Gateway Phase 1 redevelopment plan. There's been a couple of properties that have been going back between the planning board and the council, obviously, one being the Haynes redevelopment project, as well as the Ferrara's development application at 337 Orange Road. And that one was recently heard at the planning board, and there seemed to be quite a bit of confusion as to the density that was going to be allowed on that particular property. Okay, and when I went back and took a look at the meeting that reviewed that development back in, I believe, that property back in November of 2017. I didn't believe it or not, but I was at the meeting. Okay, so at that time there was definitely a discussion about only 18 units, and at that time I did pose a question to Mr. Broddock if there was additional density with additional affordable housing be considered in that development. And at the time it was stated it was only going to be 18 units, but when this application came before the planning board last week, March the 11th, there were 46 units being proposed in that development. So with 100% increase in the development, I think there should have absolutely been a commitment for affordable housing in that project as well. And just to end on that note, I believe both of these projects are being brought forward by the same developer. So we really want to make sure that we understand the commitment to affordable housing, whether it's new development or old development. And I think that's one thing that was put in place with the new ordinance, that any new development would be a 20% set aside for affordable housing. And that's something that the council did commit to last year. So I just want to make sure that that commitment is still on the table. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Deirdre Malloy. I am the co-chair of the Montclair Housing Commission. And I also want to say to Madam Clerk, as well as the staff here, I feel that we will be in good hands when you leave, and best wishes to you. The reason I'm here is because I provided a copy of the State of New Jersey Department of the Treasury's Public Agency Guidelines for administering equal employment opportunity and affirmative action for public contracts. It's this packet here. You probably are familiar with it. I didn't want to assume whether you were not or whether you were. However, since the municipality is designating someone, I thought that it would be good to share this information and just to make sure that the compliance officer is doing their due diligence. I don't know what projects or public contracts this person will be monitoring and or making sure that equal employment opportunities are provided for. However, this booklet demonstrates the detail of the procedures and process. I also want to recommend that if in fact it applies, and I would imagine that it would require the attorney to be involved with understanding which public contracts this applies to and or not, but with regard to equal employment opportunities, perhaps expanding a reach into the community, maybe through MNDC, Brother to Brother. There may be some training programs available out there to give people who are have some type of trade an opportunity to work on a public contract if it applies. And or I would like to just propose that perhaps the municipality reach out to Essex County so that they could come to the municipality and do some maybe OSHA training, OSHA 10 or OSHA 30. So when you have an opportunity, please avail yourself to just looking at this packet. It is, in a nutshell, everything the compliance person is supposed to be doing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I'll close the public comment period. Thank you all for your comments and suggestions. Madam Clerk.
The first is an ordinance to extend the no parking here to corner restriction on the northbound lane of Upper Mountain Avenue to a point 125 feet south of the intersection with Bellevue Avenue.
Is there anyone present who wishes to address this particular ordinance?
William Scott, 23 Cedar Avenue. I believe this ordinance is similar to the no parking here at the corner requirement that we have in front of Nishawane School. And being a resident of Montclair, being a resident living on Cedar Avenue for over 30 years, I've seen very, very little enforcement of the no parking from the corner to about 300 or 400 feet down on Cedar Avenue. Every day there's someone or number of cars parked right on every single corner right across from Nishawane School. And, you know, we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago when the police chief was here and things like that. And then I definitely got a call from Officer Will Young, excuse me, about the problem. But it's just an ongoing problem. It doesn't go away. There might be some enforcement, but, you know, for some reason, the parents just don't get the message. They park there every day, and it's really a very busy intersection. You're really putting not only the parents, the children, even the crossing guard, because there's only one crossing guard on that corner. So it is extremely busy, and the sights of view are completely blocked when individuals are turning off a high street or on the high street. So, you know, I understand the purpose of, you know, these sorts of ordinance, but it does go back to enforcement. And, you know, if we're going to continue to put ordinances in place, rules and regulations, you know, I guess we're going to have to enforce them at some point in time. Okay, that's just my point. Okay.
So, this has got my memories. So there is prohibition now.
Yes. Yes.
But it's just not being
enforced. Clear signage. You know, says no parking on that particular side of the street, and it's the opposite side of Nishawayne School. But every single day, there's a half dozen, a dozen cars parked on that street, on that side of the street. And obviously, you know, it's a 20 or 15-minute period of time. But also, we have the firehouse at the top of Harrison Avenue and Cedar Avenue. And as I mentioned, it's just a miracle that we have not had a major incident with the fire truck trying to get down Cedar Avenue. So that's just my point.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you, sir. Anyone else comments on this ordinance? Council? Comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilor Baskerville?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Councilor McMahon?
Yes.
Councilor Schlager?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you. The second pending ordinance is an ordinance amending Montclair Code, Section 337, and this applies to mobile vendors.
Is there anyone present who wishes to address this ordinance? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Council comments?
I just have a question, Mayor. On number 4, where it says each vendor must place a trash can of adequate size and a recycle can in close proximity to the vendor's location, I was just wondering if anyone thought there was a need to make it more specific, or can we just give it to them close proximity? I've been getting some feedback that not all of them have, you know, their individual cans in close proximity. So I was just wondering, you know, if everybody feels that that's strong enough, then I'm fine with it. But it did come to my mind that because I don't always see the cans, maybe my idea of close proximity is different than some of theirs.
Mr. Krasik, if a specific distance was put in, would that be a material change in your opinion?
Well, actually, that particular section isn't being amended now. So if we did that, it would be a new ordinance. The only section that's being changed is the section about the minimum annual fee.
Got it.
So with that knowledge, Mayor, I'm fine. Let's just, you know, pass tonight or vote on tonight's and then see where we are afterwards. Thank you.
We'll look into the issue.
Thank you. Yeah.
I have another issue as well. When we talked about this in our council in a conference meeting, I mentioned the fact that we ought to have a security deposit so that when people, you know, if they don't clean up, if they don't whatever, that we would be able to hold that, and if we have to do it, we were going to deduct that from the security deposit. My question is, when it says the permit, would this enable us to do that? Is there anything here that prevents us from doing that?
There's nothing that prevents us, but I'm not sure, just looking at it, whether that would be authorized or not. I have to look into it. In other words, there's nothing here that says you can't do it. The only question is, do we have the authority to collect that type of deposit? And I'm not sure, so I'd like to look at that.
Well, I mean, we do deposits for other things. I mean, you know.
Right. No, I understand, and I'm just...
my point, because if we don't have something with some teeth in it, with some substance, it's not going to really mean anything to them. If they know that we're holding money, and if they don't clean up, we're going to use the money to clean up. They're going to clean up.
No, I appreciate it, and if I don't believe that we're authorized to do that, we'll propose an amendment before the the next licenses go out.
Mhm.
I just am not sure, and I don't want to speak definitively about it. There's nothing here, though, that prohibits that.
And that being the case, the bidding process is done in the summer for the fall for the next year. And so I have it on my calendar to include in the specifications that requirement so that the township could hold that surety.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Right, if they're in the bidding specifications, then I think we'd be fine.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Stafford, I'm glad to hear that, because that was going to be my next question, kind of follow it up, because we had a lengthy discussion about exactly this issue, which was about the trash being left out, that, we are then going out and picking it up, and we're incurring the cost. So if you guys are comfortable that that's where it belongs, then that's acceptable. And I just want to make sure we're moving forward with something that includes the gist of what we were talking about, which included that trash piece, and the mayor's proposal was to, have that security deposit, if you will. So as long as that's incorporated, I think that's key, because I am hearing the same thing, that sometimes the trash is out and it's not being picked up.
And we have code enforcement as well as health department inspectors speaking routinely with the vendors, but it is anticipated and planned to be in the next set of specifications.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Councilor Baskerville?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Councilor McMahon?
Yes.
Councilor Schlager?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Under new business ordinances, we have an ordinance to amend Section 347 zoning of the Code of the Township of Montclair to correct a measurement for lot width and maximum height of a freestanding sign. I so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilor Baskerville?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Councilor McMahon?
Yes.
Councilor Schlager?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. And item D is an ordinance amending Section 327 of the Code of the Township of Montclair regarding vehicles in traffic. And I so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilor Baskerville?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Councilor McMahon?
Yes.
Councilor Schlager?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Okay, we have items 2 through 11 on a consent agenda. Anybody have a reason to pull any of the items from the agenda? I actually would like to pull number 5.
Okay.
But I will move the consent agenda 2 through 11, except for number 5.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item 5 is a resolution rescinding a municipal lien in the amount of $230.50 on a property. And we had a discussion about this during the conference meeting, and I wanted to, Mr. Karasik, I believe we've done some things to address our concerns here.
Correct. Based on the concerns that were expressed at the conference meeting, the next day, we did 2 things. One is that we sent out a bill to the property owner who was the property owner of record of this property at the time that the lien was generated, the time we did the work, basically, and sent them a bill and demanded payment. That's going to progress. If we don't get paid, we'll follow up and collect it. Second thing we did was to I spoke to code enforcement and to our attorney who's been handling that, Jason Santarcangelo. And what they're doing now is they're going to send out an invoice to the property owner or the bank, or whoever is the owner of record in charge of the property, as soon as possible after work is done that would generate a lien. So, for instance, if there's a cleanup today, it takes a couple of days for the papers to be submitted, but then a bill will go out so that the property owner or the person in charge of it would be on notice that a lien has been created.
Great. Thank you. And I also move number 5.
Second.
Roll call.
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Counselor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Slager?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. And Madam Clerk, I don't know, should we have done a roll call for the consent agenda? My mistake.
Well,
Yes,
yes,
could we,
but-
I remove the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Counselor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Councilor Slager?
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas invoices against the Township of Montclair in favor of the following persons for the amount set opposite their respective names have been received, duly audited, and found correct. Therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Township of Montclair, the County of Essex, that said invoices be, and they are hereby ordered paid, and that checks be drawn by the Finance Department to the order of such persons for the amounts respectively and hereinafter stated on computer printout attached hereto and made a part hereof. This bill list is dated March 19th, 2019 for $17,994,781.80, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Counselor McMahon?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Comments from, or information from the dais, Mr. Karasik?
Nothing except, I heard that last roll call.
I was wondering,
and
should we have a drum?
It made,
Should we have
it
a
made me
drum,
very,
you know,
very sentimentally wistful.
Ms. Lee?
Nothing at this time.
Madam Clerk?
Just another thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think the best thing I can say is I always look forward to going to work in the morning, which my friends sometimes roll their eyes at. But that was the truth. It was, you know, interesting. It certainly had some ups and downs, but I think to be able to serve the community you live in and be among the residents is the best. And I meant what I said about thanking the council for the environment that you provided, that, you know, I certainly learned all along the way and grew, and it was a good gig. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the headline right there, right? It was a good gig. Mr. Stafford?
Mayor, my dad has said to me since I was a very young boy, it's an art to know when to say nothing. And having heard Mrs. WANAT's comments just now, I'm going to say no. I have nothing to say.
Thank you. Councilor Hurlock?
Just two quick announcements. The next First Ward community meeting will be Wednesday, March 27th, 7:30 to 9 at the Bellevue Avenue Library Branch. Look forward to seeing many of you out there. We always have a good turnout. And the First Ward Beautification Day, the 7th annual, will be Saturday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And I follow your comments, Mr. Stafford. There's really nothing else to say after that. Thank you.
Councilor Slager?
The only thing I have to say, actually, is tomorrow's the first day of spring. So get out and enjoy yourselves in our town and in our many parks. And another goodbye, Linda, to your thank you again for everything. Thank you.
Councilor McMahon?
Tim's father was very wise. God bless you.
Councilor Spiller?
Yes, thank you,
Deputy
Mr.
Mayor Spiller.
No problem. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be brief as well. I just want to announce that the next Third Ward community meeting will be on April 8th from 7:30 to 9 at the Montclair Museum. So just want to put that out there again. So again, on April 8th from 7:30 to 9 at the Montclair Museum will be the next Third Ward community meeting. And I just want to add for the record that I'm sure that Councilman Russo wishes he was here to offer some words. I know he's served with you well, so I wanted to put that on the record as well. So, thank you.
Councilor Baskerville?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm trying to get a date together that's very important, but the first one that I'll share is that on April the 13th, the annual egg hunt that's sponsored by the Township, the Police Department, MNDC, Montclair Cobras, Montclair Fourth Ward Collaborative will take place in Glenfield Park. If anybody missed it last year, you definitely won't want to miss it again this year. People just keep talking about how it continues to get better and better every year, and young people of all ages have a great time, so come on out. And also, I'd like to mention the Blue Wave Gala that is April the 5th at 8 p.m. at Mayfair Farms. Our Deputy Mayor, Sean Spiller, Vice President of NJEA, will be receiving an award along with some other well-deserving people, but I certainly would like to congratulate you, Deputy Mayor. I'm going to do everything that I can try to do to get there. I don't know if anybody else heard it, but the last meeting, I think you mentioned that you might try to slip a sister a ticket. But anyway, if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, you may still be in time. And the literary festival is beginning. Does anybody have the date of that? I don't know if you people know, this Saturday. And this is really a great opportunity to bring people together to promote literacy, and also as a fundraiser. But it's they have things going on for people of all ages, so please look in the newspapers or whatever locations that you're able to find the specifics and find out about the literary festival that's coming up this weekend. It's to provide resources for Succeed Together. I don't know if everybody knows what Succeed Together is. That's one of our nonprofits in the township that does things to help children with scholarship and mentorship, and they also provide things like violin lessons, activities, summer programs. I try to attend from time to time, and everybody in there seems to be getting a lot out of it. So that begins this Saturday, and I think it ends on Sunday. So that's it, and Linda, we'll be seeing each other again, so this isn't goodbye. And know that you're appreciated by so many, including myself. Thank you.
Thank you. One great note, we received, I got an email from the company that Montclair, as you know, we started the Big Belly program 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And maybe a little bit more now. And the operation, I don't know if you travel around the country, you see them all over the place, all over the world, actually. And they're in 54 countries and 6 continents, and growing like crazy. And every year they evaluate the efficiency of the users of their product. And for the year 2018, the little township of Montclair was the #1 efficiency user of those systems in the entire world.
Wow. And they really are helping us. Wow.
And to Mr. Stafford, Mr. Wood, and certainly to Craig Brandon and Mark Dawson and Jerry Giles, who worked so carefully and responsibly on that. That's an incredible honor. I think the second city was from the United Kingdom, but we were. It's just an amazing thing to me how good that level of efficiency is, and what that does is we cut costs, we reduce our carbon footprint, we have just saved labor costs. It's really been a wonderful tool, and it just knocked my socks off that we were, #1 in the world. That's like, wow. So you can actually go online and look at it. There's a list. They list the top 25. There's many more cities, but they just list the top 25. So congratulations to staff on that. And I think that's it. Madam Clerk, anything else you want to? Let me just say, well, I will Mr. Stafford, you said it. I'll just let it go. But Madam Clerk, anything else?
No, but I'll probably be watching you.
That'll keep us in line. Thank you so much. We have cake. We have cake over here. Couldn't have it. Please join us for cake as we celebrate our wonderful clerk. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.